Welcome everyone, my name is Shawn McLaughlin and I am here on behalf of Full Compass Systems, and today we're going to be talking with Jesse Koopman, who is the Technical Director at Asbury United Methodist Church in Madison, Wisconsin. Welcome, Jesse.
Thanks, Shawn, appreciate it.
So Jesse, you want to give us a little bit of the background of how you came to be at Asbury Church as the Tech Director?
Yeah, so I've been involved in running tech at pretty much every church I've been at since I was a Christ follower when I was 16. A friend of a friend that worked here reached out to our mutual friend and asked if I'd be willing to just help them out for a while, because they didn't have anybody for about 6 months. They'd really been struggling to find somebody.
Yeah.
And you know, I figured I'm not doing anything right now. It's not really what I feel called to, but I can go and help out. So I figured I'd interview, I'd pitch in a little bit. In 6 months, I'd get them up on their feet, help them find a new person. But here I am almost 6 years later, and I found it's such a great job.
Yeah.
It really is, to get to use your skills and gifts for Christ and to be a part of a community serving full time in order to really just produce really quality, meaningful content for God.
Yeah.
And to really just bring about worship and inspire people like that is just such a gift. And I just have loved it.
So we are here to talk about digital wireless, and you guys are users of Shure digital wireless. You have been for several years now, right? Why wireless mics? Like, what's your thought process on how you went with wireless mics? And
yeah, great question. So they were using some wireless stuff when I started here, and they were really struggling with it. And they were trying to just adapt it because of the fact that the layout from this building wasn't really ideal, and they were trying to put stuff in places where running cables wasn't super feasible, and they were struggling with staging. And so they were trying to implement wireless and really struggling with it. So one of the first things I did when I got here was I did make a migration to Shure wireless. Digital. We went with ULXD, and it was a really nice transformation for us. We instantly went from struggling to implement wireless in a way that we didn't have issues week to week to 100% surefire, pun intended, surefire reliability. And it worked really great for us, and it allowed us to be mobile when we didn't have stage pockets where we needed it. It allowed us to function on the fly a lot faster. Something I've learned in my years of being technical director or serving in a volunteer capacity at churches in the past is that running cables, bending over constantly, moving stuff around, repatching again, it chews up a lot of time. And something I found out very early in my time here at Asbury, especially that entering a full-time capacity with a fairly large church, is your time is so crucial.
Yep.
Like, you hit 40 hours in the week so fast.
Yeah.
And for me, having a robust wireless system, and we actually added more wireless channels eventually because I found it just was a huge time saver for me.
How many channels of wireless are you running?
Wireless inputs, we're running 8 channels right now, 4 body packs and 4 handhelds in our main sanctuary. Yep. And we have several different packs at our auxiliary venues in our chapel and our children's center. And
nice. Yeah, I am a huge proponent of wireless. Also, my rig, I have it just, I have an 8-pack that I always do shows with, because it's just 8 less cables to, to wrap up at the end of the night, and it does give you a lot of flexibility. So.
Yeah, having the ability to just grab something out of a charging pack or move it from one mic stand to the other without having to replug stuff or repatch stuff, it's not just a time saver, it's a health saver.
Yeah. So what kind of drew you to digital wireless versus analog wireless? Was there any like feature sets or anything that you found was?
Yeah, so there are a couple things that are crucial for me with going digital. One was certainly the fact that I can control it really easily. So unlike the analog stuff, you have to go to the rack, and like for us in our sanctuary back here, we've got a rack room and everything's separated and it's not in the booth. Mm-hmm. So being able to control my frequencies and see and monitor my input channels and my gain structure on my inputs, and even change my frequency coordination from the booth is just a godsend. It saves me a lot of steps in the day, and it allows me to see things on the fly. The other thing that was really big for us too is we're running in the building about 20 to 25 channels on a given Sunday, depending.
Yep.
And the number of channels we can fit in a frequency, especially since the 600 megahertz band went, like, it just opens up a whole lot more range for us because you can get so many more frequencies or so many more channels in a given frequency range.
Yeah, that's a big thing, especially, I mean, there's places in the country where there's 6 megahertz open.
Yeah, I mean, we're not in Chicago, we're in Madison, and we still struggle here.
Yep, definitely, yeah. So, I mean, that is a huge benefit of the digital wireless. You mentioned control and changing that, so are you using wireless workbench?
Yeah. Like, it's one of those tools where, like, I use it pretty much every single time. So, like, I gig as well. So, like, if I'm not here at the office at Asbury, like, I do enjoy working out on the town in the evening, doing shows for fun.
Yep.
And I use wireless workbench pretty much every time I set up.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what the club is running, if they've got their own wireless gear or whatever, but I'll bring in my rig and I'll run it so that way I know I have clean frequencies, just because it's so much faster and easier to do than trying to scan on the rack unit or whatever else. It's cool that you can, but it's so much nicer to just pull up wireless workbench real quick, scan, assign frequencies, and just use the IR to sync, and you're done.
Yep.
And you can do an 8-channel rack in a matter of minutes as opposed to an hour or two.
Well, and yeah, for your application, like you said, with your receivers behind stage, of being able to monitor, look at your RF performance, look at your battery life, things like that. It's something that's really useful that I can see.
Yeah, and with the Shure stuff that we use too, it's all networkable.
Yep.
So we have everything in the building on our network, and I can literally deploy my entire campus from one chair in my booth.
Yeah. That makes it so much easier for dealing with, especially having to run around all the different spaces and everything like that.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's nice to get your steps in the day, but it's super not time efficient to, like, literally run from one end of the campus to the other 10 times in a day just to change out some mic frequencies. It's not at all convenient, and it's super time consuming.
Yeah, definitely. With your digital wireless, so Shure makes a lot of options for rechargeable batteries. Are you guys using those, or how? I guess here, should I phrase that? I don't want to put words in your mouth, but
well, so great question. So we hadn't for a long time. We'd been using just regular AA's that are rechargeable because it's less expensive, honestly. But I can't tell you, since we've picked up the rechargeable packs and the cradles. It's, again, just talking about efficiency. To have the reliability of the Shure packs that last longer than AA's do, to be able to pick them up at the beginning of my morning and run multiple services without thinking about it. And to be able to see, again, in wireless workbench, making sure that I've got the battery power I need. And then just the flexibility of saying to my tech staff, whether it be a volunteer in the booth or whether it be a musician, to just go grab your mic off the charger and know that it's going to be full and it's going to be ready to go, and not have to worry about it. Is the peace of mind that offers and the efficiency that it offers has been so helpful.
So what drew you to Shure?
Yeah, so great question. It is one of those things where I think there's no bad products out today, or at least in the competitive professional world, there are no bad products today. So picking what you want, so you can look at technical specs and all these different things, and everybody's gonna have their own advantages and disadvantages, but for me, what sold me the most was my dealer and my rep. So being here in Madison, Wisconsin, like, not only is it convenient having Full Compass, but I've loved working with them. My salesperson, John at Fullco, has been a loyal friend of mine as well as a salesperson for me for years. And he knows me, he knows my church, and it's been great. And then a huge part of it has also just been you. I mean, we've known each other for years, even before we met at church. We ended up going to the same church for quite a while, but we knew each other before that from working in the industry together. And knowing you as I do, knowing that you're reliable, that you know your product, that Shure supports you, that when I have an issue and you want to support it and you can't, Shure covers your back. And to know that I have that infrastructure and that network behind me between Full Compass and between you and AudioBiz, like, I just know that no matter what I do with my Shure product, I'm going to be covered and taken care of.
Yeah.
And that peace of mind is more than I could ask for any other company.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
to me, it was just a no-brainer.
Well, it's good to have you in the Shure family, you know?
I feel loved.
You feel loved.
I feel loved.
Look at your swag later. So if you mentioned you've got a couple, like a youth space, the chapel space, you're using some other wireless that you've got in there, some of your older stuff. I know we've talked about a little bit about the newest wireless that we've got sitting next to us, the SLX-D. What are your thoughts of like where you would go if adding wireless to your existing network?
Yeah, so in some of our auxiliary venues, we do have some of the older stuff. We've got some original Shure SLX, and I am excited about SLX-D because for me, again, talking about the ease of consistency and the ease of deployment, having a digital option,
Yeah.
it makes my life so much easier for coordination and deployment. So as soon as it's in the budget for us, it's gonna be something that I'm gonna look to do right away
Yeah.
here at Asbury because it just simplifies my life, having something that's reliable, consistent, and easy to deploy and manage. Makes my life as a technical director easier.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, that's a good. That's a good area to focus on because it's adding to your existing infrastructure, but being able to get something that's affordable price point that fits the needs of that particular space. You don't necessarily need to go top of the line with everything.
Yeah, I mean, we'd love to go Accent in our children's center. That'd be amazing. But it's not really practical.
Yeah, definitely. Guess any words of wisdom for those folks out there that are looking for wireless or?
Yeah, I would say don't underspend.
Yep.
I think the biggest issue you can make in wireless investing is to underspend.
Yeah.
Getting something that's cheap up front is going to cost you down the line, whether you end up replacing it or just in terms of man hours. Having something that's reliable, consistent, and something that you can manage easily and quickly is worth its weight in gold.
Yeah, most definitely.
So if there's one piece of advice I give anybody when shopping for wireless, is just don't cheap out. It's not worth it.
That is great advice.
Yeah, and I guess just to add to that too, like the time investment that you have in stuff. I mean, being a full-time technical director is a challenging job. It really is one of these things that like chews through your weeks so fast it becomes a blur.
Yeah.
To have something in your rack that you just don't think about once it's deployed.
Yeah.
When we moved from old school analog to digital, I literally gained probably on average an hour a week in a year.
Yeah. Just having to troubleshoot things.
Yeah, there was no more troubleshooting. There was, when things did come up, refrequency coordinating took 15 minutes tops.
Yeah.
And it's just bulletproof reliable. So it's just so worth it to spend a little extra, to save that time, and to have something that's robust and reliable.
So, Jesse, thank you for joining us today and talking about your experiences with Shure Digital Wireless and how it's helped you out in your applications. And if you have any more questions about Shure Wireless, you can reach out to your Full Compass salesperson and hit them up on the website at fullcompass.com.